Hi, everybody. I live on a farm in Honeybrook, and we have raised pigs, and that was the subject of my first story slam, because that's embarrassing. And we also board horses, which is often a bad idea. We decided to add a horse named Doc to our herd. He was a painted horse of America, about 17 hands, which means he's really enormous, and black and white, huge. And there are two theories about adding a horse to your herd. You either open the gate, let them all together, and let them settle it, or you isolate them so they can look at each other over a fence for a while, and then put them in together, and then they settle it. Well, Doc arrives, it's only about 10 o'clock in the morning. We have a lot of daylight hours left. He's a big fella. So his owner and I decide to just throw him in with the other horses. And while I'm doing that, I'm watching him running around the pasture, and there's some name calling and some showing off, but everybody's getting along pretty well. But I say, you know, that is really a good looking horse. And his owner says to me, he's good looking, but he's not really good. Which was a little late to be telling me this. At any rate, about 5 hours later, she goes home. About 5 hours later, I'm looking out my kitchen window. I don't see Doc in the pasture, so I go out to look for him, check on him. I find my 5 horses behind the barn, kind of rolling their eyes at the sky and looking like guilty 7th graders, and Doc is nowhere. So I grab a bucket of grain, a lead, and I walk the fence, and I find the Doc-sized hole in the fence. I spend about an hour and a half calling his name, shaking the bucket. He's not coming. It's good you're not laughing, because this part really isn't very funny. Anyway, so after about an hour and a half, I decide it's time to call the police. I call the state police, and sure enough, some woman 4 miles from our house has him in a pasture. Now, what's interesting to me about this is apparently she's had him for about 3 hours, and that means that a 1,800-pound animal that looked like a zebra walked down Fairview Road in Wallace Township, and nobody called the police. At any rate, so because it's getting dark at this point, I decide that I don't want to ride him home. I don't know him that well. I don't want to walk him home, because I'll never do 4 miles before night falls. I call a girlfriend who's got a trailer. She comes over. It's a beautiful super cab with a 4-horse trailer in the back. She drives me over. On the way over, she says, is he hard to load? And I said, I don't really know anything about him. He only arrived this morning. So she said, I'll handle it. She's very experienced, and she brought her dog. So we go over to the farm. There's Doc in the pasture. My friend Deb walks into the pasture with a great air of authority, walks right up to Doc, puts the lead right on the halter, smacks him in the middle of the forehead, loads him on the trailer. Like nothing. Like it's 3 minutes maybe. So we're high-fiving each other, because we're 2 women who've handled this situation, and it's really gone very well. You know, like, yay, yay, yay. And we are about to get back in the truck just in time for her dog to excitedly jump on the windowsill of the truck and lock the keys in the car. So I say, Deb, this isn't a problem. I have an idea. I said, I know your house isn't locked. I'll just call my husband on the cell phone. He'll go over to your house, get your spare set of keys, drive them over, and it'll be fine. Where are your keys? And I'm dialing my husband as I'm talking to her, and she goes, they're in my underwear drawer. I said, they're where? She said, they're in my underwear drawer. Now, by this time, my husband has answered my call, and I say, Chuck, honey, I need you to go to Deb's house. It's not locked. I need you to go into her master bedroom. I need you to put your hand in her underwear drawer and find the spare keys to her truck. He said no. Anyway, but I talked to him for a little longer time. Deb talked to him. We finally convinced him that nobody would ever know. It would just go, Deb's husband is out at a basketball game in Philadelphia, not expected home for hours. It's going to be fine. He can stay on the phone while he's doing it. So he drives over, calls us back. Deb's talking him through the house. Yeah, just go down the hallway, open the door. Yeah, there's my dresser. That's the drawer. Pull the drawer open. Don't tell me what you're looking at. Just grab the keys. And then we hear my husband scream, "It's not what it looks like." Because, of course, Deb's husband arrived home early to find my husband standing in their bedroom with his hand in her underwear drawer. This was not funny for several years. But I reflect on it because I know these stories always have to have a beginning and a middle of an end, and as much as I thought about this for 4 weeks, I could not come up with a punchline that would explain what it felt like for my husband to be found in that situation. So we just didn't talk about it ever again. So thank you.